What's going on, gamers? Today we're going to be going over a ring that I think a lot of people should know about, but not many people will probably get a hold of, even though it's the most powerful status effect ring in the game. So if that interests you, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back, all you gamers. Today we're going to be going over what I believe is probably the very best status ring in the game. This thing is an absolute beast, but many of you may not know about it or may not be able to pick it up because it is a bit of a nightmare to get hold of. This video was going to be a guide on how to get hold of it, but as you can see from this footage just here, I've had to change it up slightly because everything I did for about 5 hours became corrupted, and I don't think anyone would want to follow this guide. So instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you about this ring, why you may well want it, and then I'll put in text the best way that I found to get hold of it, and if I can manage to find a better tutorial guide on YouTube, I'll chuck that in the description for you to click on. But the ring we're looking at today is going to be the Ahanae crystal ring. This is going to deal 5% additional damage for each status effect that the target is suffering from. Now, there are a few people saying that very possibly one of the DLC classes later on may revolve around elemental or status damage. If so, this ring will come into play even further, and it's already probably one of the most powerful rings in the game in the right setups. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to chuck a few tips on here on how to get hold of it, because it is a hardcore reward, and it will mean you need to complete the world of Yaesha in order to obtain this. Pause that if you need to, or like I said, if I find a better guide, I'll chuck it in the description. But the reason you may well want to get hold of this ring is that it allows for a lot of build diversity, and it's absolutely amazing when worked with other unique amulets like the Shayed Bloom Crystal, or anything that can boost a bit of damage such as the Burden of Destroyer, which I think is probably one of the best percentage damage rings. This one, as you can see, is even better if you manage to apply a lot of statuses on an enemy. For this, you're going to want to make sure you've got a good setup, so put on things like Twisted Rands, Corrosive Rands, Hot Shot, whatever you can in order to get a nice bit of status and elemental damage about yourself, and probably trying to get over 3 on a target at a time will make this absolutely ideal having this ring on, and will make it one of the most powerful rings in the game for its actual damage percentage. I found working in the mix with things such as Engineer and Summoner worked ideal with this, but the great thing about this ring, it allows for a lot of hybrid and a lot of fun diversive builds. If I show you over here, I'm going to set up my turret, then I'm going to kind of apply a few status effects. Obviously we won't be getting at the maximum of our damage because we haven't got the bleed effect going off at the same time, because the target dummies don't actually respond to that currently. But even with this, probably not the most powerful setup, but still one that's edging over the 2000 DPS, as well as having a nice bit of turret damage at our sides, and if we wanted to, we could swap things in, swap things out, and use summons instead. I actually think this is an amazing ring to use, and like I said, if they manage to bring out a class later on that enhances your status effects, this will definitely be one you want in your builds. But yeah, as always, Full Friends Gaming, take care. I'll see you on the next day.